Hey everybody, welcome back to the Be That Create That social channel. Trian here with another wonderful guest. I think I have so much fun prior to these interviews that the interviews are just the icing on the cake for me. So I'm really excited to continue to bring you some of these wonderful interviews with women who are out there making a difference, making an impact, using some of their strengths and the passions and the things that they love to serve. And sometimes they've created a business out of it. And sometimes, it's just creating that leadership lifestyle, right? So it's about taking the things that you love to do and either creating a business or just getting more of that into your life. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring Judith George up here so y'all can meet her. Already so much fun with you this morning.
No, it was good. I was like chatty, but
I know. And yeah. I said to myself, I could probably talk to you all day, so I probably should get your interview started.
Yeah, no, it's good. That's a good way to start.
All right. So why don't you just go ahead and introduce yourself to our community, who you are, what you do, what you're passionate about, and a way that they can get to know you a little bit better.
Okay. So I'm Judith George. I call myself the video content whisperer. I work with entrepreneurs, small businesses, creating content, even from their content. So it's for them it's really hard sometimes to keep putting content out there. So I work with them to find a way to get more content. And I work with speakers and coaches and just basically trying to up level their visibility online, which is important, and video's important. And my background actually was a dancer and choreographer. I was in New York for 30 years, and I feel like that helped me learn my editing skills, is because there's rhythm involved in it. And so I worked, and then I went into production. Then I worked for Martha Stewart for 8 years as a senior online video producer there. And then I was working on her daily shows. So after that, I went out on my own. So I've been doing that for a while since her show ended, which I can't remember when. And the best way for people, do you want me to tell you how to get in contact with me, or a little bit?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, so probably the best way, well, you could go to my website, but also on Instagram, MS Judith George. I just love to connect because I connect with a lot of people there. That's one way. And I sometimes put up my videos of tips and tricks for video. And yeah, and I'm always open to conversations about video. I love video editing and video. So you can always hit me up for a question.
Yeah, I was actually saying to you prior to this, I was looking at some of the things on your personal page, and I was like, man, she's funny. And some of your videos, I love how natural you are. So for someone who hasn't really gotten into video content, I know for me, what started me on video was I did a 21-day live challenge.
Oh, that's good.
It was complete nonsense. I mean, I talked about some of the strangest things, but it was getting myself comfortable with being in front of a camera, sometimes talking to myself.
Yeah. No, you have to, yes, perfect.
So what would you say would be, a trick to get started, or a tip maybe to help someone just get started with video content?
So I would say, I think challenges are good to get, even do accountability with one person, a challenge. I think I'm going to do one with people, but I'm just waiting, probably in the fall. But the thing about video is you have to just keep doing it, practice. I think the thing is also to realize you don't have to post it. Just do it. Just get up in the morning, talk like I did years ago. I called them Judith moments. And so what I did was when I was going to work or coming back from anything at Martha Stewart, I'd see something on the street. And so I'd do a Judith moment of commenting what it was. Now it was just, I just did it so that I would keep putting video content out there. So the biggest thing is just trying it and knowing that you don't have to post it, but that practice is going to get you more comfortable. And also the other thing is, when you're videotaping anything, I always tell people, when you're looking at the lens, to think there's someone behind the lens. Like, who would you talk to if you were telling them about your business or something exciting that happened to you today? Just always imagine that there's the person behind there. And I think that frees people up so that it's not just talking to nothing,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that. Because I know, like, not only with my phone, but with my system here on my laptop, I'm like, I don't even know which camera is recording me right now. So I'm just going to talk to the face. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I'm almost to the point now where I kind of forget that there's a camera and I'm
Yeah.
really just with that person, it's been a road to get there for sure.
Yeah. I think that, like, you want to look at the lens because that, will come across that I'm looking at the audience.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a friend that made these stickers that you could put right behind the lens so that you always would remind yourself that because it's much more comfortable to be looking at looking at you.
Yeah.
But I think so getting your message, when you want to do it, you want to be looking at the lens because that'll project your message and people will feel you, which is what you want people to do when they see you on videos, is to identify with you.
Well, isn't it so interesting too when you think about that 3 years ago, we weren't comfortable on camera. Everyone is having a hard time with Zoom. And now it's like, this is how I have a coffee chat. How did that
Yeah,
even get to that point? Right.
I
So,
know.
why do you think video is so important? That definitely comes across in your message that video content is, would you call it king and then King Godzilla?
Yeah, that's what I put out today, where short videos were I read it on this thing and I was like, oh my God, because short videos are like the thing right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's that when people want to work with people, they want to feel like they know them, right? They want to feel like someone who might want to work with me might enjoy my sense of humor and be like, oh, she's going to be relaxed. She's not going to judge me, or she'll make room for what my ideas are. So I feel that video, now I'm going to make an exception. LinkedIn, it doesn't do so well on there, but unfortunately it did for a while. And now they've changed. They're always changing their algorithms, but it's about letting people know who you are. That's the thing, because that's why they want to work with you. They don't want to work with you because you're cheapest or you're this, but because of who you are. And that's why you're doing your business, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when you think about that, there's so many, because I have people tell me, oh, I don't know how you do that. How do you get in front of the camera? And I'm like, you know what? There's probably a lot of leadership coaches out there. There's coaches everywhere. I don't really think about the fact that, coaching or even doing video content is saturated. For me, it's like there's one and only me.
Yeah.
And I think that people really have to just embrace the one and only me.
Yeah.
The way that I teach, the way that I communicate with people, that's what's important. And that's what's important for people to see if you want to get them in your world.
Right. Right. Because like, even before we were doing this, we were chatting away, and it's like there's so many people to meet, right? Not everyone, even if you have the same message, like the same, who you want, like you said, leadership coaches, that the way you do it is different. The way you approach them, the way you talk, and that's what makes people come to you or not come to you. Oh, did I freeze?
I think both of us did. We're good now. Yep, we're good.
Oh, that's the Zoom thing, right? Zoom thing, all the craziness with Zoom. I mean, yeah. Mm-hmm. We got very comfortable. I mean, the funny thing is, this is an aside, is like when someone's on Zoom with you and they forget to do their microphone, and you're like, come on, we've been doing this for 3 years. Like, you know how to do this.
Check your mic. Yeah.
Yeah.
So where do you feel like, you've got all this kind of video content in your background, and obviously you like to play in that. What do you see yourself, for a vision for kind of doing with some of that skills and that passion for that content?
I feel that what I want to do is, like, the people that don't feel they can get on video, I want to help them get on video. I want people not to feel, because I know it can be really restricting to feel like, oh, I can't get on video. There's so many things that they'll criticize themselves about, and it's really not necessary. I mean, we have to it's like, that's what doing it again and again. So the more people I can get out there on video and getting their message, then I feel like I'm working with someone right now who's a lawyer, coaching her, and she's not that comfortable, but we're working, and it gets me excited that she's going to be able to put her message out there in video and she'll make a difference for other people. So as I make a difference for her, and then she makes a difference for somebody else.
I love that. It's that ripple effect.
Yeah.
It's that ripple effect that we always talk about, how just our simple way of serving or helping another person creates not only that movement in them, but I almost kind of feel like it creates this like, oh, well, this person helped me. Now, how can I go help another person, right?
Yeah. And I think, I don't want to make it just women, but I think as women, we like to help people, you know, and I feel that once someone's helped you and then you're getting a hold of something and you feel good, then you do feel like, well, what can I do for somebody else? Because it's opened up doors. Because you've, like with video, I feel like people open up more because they're on camera. So it helps them to relax and open up. And then when you're open, you see more opportunities and you see how you can help other people or do different things.
Yeah. And I've also almost kind of seen, you know, I was talking to somebody, I'm in a book collab right now, and I was talking to somebody about how I was having a hard time with the writing part of it because I write very much like I talk. Yeah. And I even said to her, like, I'm so much better on camera or for speaking engagements because I can feel the energy and I can work off the energy. And she kind of laughed and she's like, well, why don't you just do talk to text? So I wrote a lot of the points of my book using that Google talk to text. And then I just went in and kind of like wrote off of that. So I've really come full circle in the comfortability of it. Yeah. But there's so many little tricks that you can do to get yourself to that point.
Yeah. I mean, you can, like for me, I always tell people don't do a script, because do your bullet points, because if you're doing a video, you're doing about something, you know, so it's like trusting yourself that it doesn't have to be this word, this word, this word, you know, your content, and to use that and to think about how would you want to tell someone about your service or about how to do something, right? Like, I was just going to say to you, you should just talk to the camera and by yourself. And then you could take that too, because then you're going to be in that place of, I don't know, giving. But I love that you did voice to text. That's smart.
So the other thing that I noticed on a lot of your videos is you have a lot of captions. So why do you think that those captions are important, even though it's video? And what app do you use to do that?
So captions are vital, I feel, because if someone's like, I'll be just going through videos and I don't have the sound. But if you see the words, you get it, or you also know you want to go to it. Because and also I always feel like people at work, when you have a free moment, right? You go and you're looking on your phone and so if the sound came up, you'd be mortified, but then you can read it, right? So it protects you. And sometimes I use CapCut. I also use Descript. I do that for a lot of the podcasts, but they do a whole captioning as well. Those are the two. I mean, there's so many, but I use those two right now. Yeah.
So I talk to the community a lot about, and obviously you've been in production for a long time. You've worked for names that we know, right? You had to be successful working in New York City. That's crazy. Yeah. So I talk to the community a lot about a morning routine and why I think that that's important. But even if it's not a morning routine, what is something that you feel like is a non-negotiable for you that's really helped you be successful in your day?
Yeah, I'm totally into journaling in the morning. That's like I have to do it. I'm very I get up, I'll make a little coffee, and then I'll sit with my journal and I'll just freeform write. It's not even so, I don't know if I just write what's in my head, right? So I get it out there. I kind of can figure out what my plan is for the day, and it calms me down. Not that you wake up anxious, I shouldn't say it like that, but it just centers me. And I feel like if I didn't do it, I know when I haven't done it. And I do meditate, but I'm not consistent with that. But when I do it, that's good. But my journaling that's a non-negotiable. And I feel like it really helps me. It grounds me. It gives me ideas, right? You're just writing stuff, and then you could have an idea that you want to use.
Well, speaking of ideas, share with the group, something that you're creating or you're working on right now that you'd like to share with them.
So right now I'm working on, and it will be out soon, a way to capture all your ideas. It's it's a little bit of a mind map, different thing. And I'm creating it so that you can take your main points of what are your pain points for your clients, and then find ways to create more from those. For one thing, you can have 9 things, but it's a way to like do some work and dig into it and find that you could have 20 videos, right, from one sitting that you could do. That's what I'm focusing on now, because I feel people also say, I don't know what to talk about, but they do. But it's like you have to put the pen to paper or the voice to Google Voice to that, and just get it out. And if, some ideas might not be great. Like I write a bunch of ideas, and then when I read it, I'm like, well, that's not really going to work. But it's out there, right? It's in my head. I got it out. So I'm working on a little freebie for that, which will be on my website in a couple. Well, when this comes out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what's funny is when I think about that, like the things that pop into my head when I'm in the shower, like that's a whole nother conversation. But the things that pop into my head when I'm in the shower, and then 3-4 weeks from now, if that thing pops into my head again, or it's continued over that time period, I'm like, Trian, that is obviously something that you need to take action on.
Yeah, for sure. Because actually, I was doing this. I'm in Toastmasters. I was doing this talk, and one day I had this idea. I was like, "Oh, that's a great idea to do my speech." Couldn't remember it. Haven't remembered it since. So obviously, it wasn't. I talked about video in my thing, but it wasn't the thing to do because I couldn't even remember. But I agree. If it's in your head and you're thinking about it, then it's percolating. You have to go for it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I'd say.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being a part of our group. I have loved having you on here. I just love being in your energy. You're so fun.
Oh, thanks. I really appreciate it. This was so much fun. And I love talking about video and stuff and helping people get better, right? Because that's, I want to get better. You want to get, it's always that process.
Right. And we will be seeing more from you, obviously, in our community as well. Yep. And thank you guys so much for being a part of this episode. We look forward to bringing these interviews to you because I have so much fun talking to them. It's a little selfish part of me. I enjoy talking to you guys. So thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.